Hey, buddy. Can you see me on Twitch?
Hello?
Yellow.
Yo, there you is.
Hey, man. I don't know if people can hear you. Can you say again?
Uh,
Oh, yeah, that's good. They can hear you. Let me boost your voice up. You're live on the internet, but you're a radio dude, so you know. Been there, done that,
oh,
right?
I yeah, I've been on the radio lots of times.
Nice.
I'm a radio boy.
I'm
In this
a radio boy.
in this age of technology,
Yeah.
I am a radio boy.
Yeah. I can turn off the camera, I guess. You don't use it.
So,
And then I'll go up here. Nice. It's a shame that you can't see on Twitch because you're giant and I'm tiny.
I got a big head. It usually works like that.
I want your face. Very good. Nice. All right, I'm just setting things up. Thanks, bro, for joining.
No problem,
This is
man.
fun.
Yeah, I gotta do a last minute drawing for a last minute tattoo today, but I can hang out for a couple of minutes on Twitch.
Yeah,
Get all
nice.
famous.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. How long do you have? What do you want to do? Well, I know I have a few questions for you, but how long do you want to do this?
I don't know, like 15, 20, something like that. That work?
Sure.
Is that too long?
So no, it's very short for streaming.
I don't know. I'm over 40 and all of this is strange.
That's
It's
all right.
technology has gotten harder since I had my last birthday. I think that's just what happens now.
Yeah, every time you have a birthday, everything gets more complicated.
Yeah. Yeah, I get crankier and everything
Oh
gets
my
harder.
God, bro. Like, I cracked my foot. I don't know how, just from getting older, like a month
Okay.
ago, just like an old skateboarding injury, I think.
Okay.
And then I couldn't walk, and I didn't have a job, so I just stayed home for like 2 weeks. And then I got,
Oh,
I think it's COVID number three. But
oh
very,
God.
very, very soft. But just I get dizzy and I can't walk. So then I stayed another like week and a half at
Fuck.
home. But I got a new job working online and they
Okay.
gave me a lot of hours. So I just bought this new PC that lets me stream instead. And I'm like, all right, this is my life now. I don't go out anymore.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, keeping all your pee in jars and bottles around the house and wearing tissue boxes as shoes.
That was always the case, though.
Okay.
Like I'm
Yeah.
already doing that. I don't know if people can hear smoothly. I'm getting a lot of trouble with delays, but hopefully everything's fine. So
Okay.
thanks Angus. I thought we would do a French stream because it's the morning in Quebec, but a lot of people that said they would watch are not there, and then there's three viewers, and one is me. And yeah, everyone can speak English, so we'll do it in English because then I'll put it on YouTube after. Oh, you can't see
Sure.
me, right?
I can't see you. I see a little gremlin.
Oh yeah, there you go. Not a big
No,
difference, right?
no, I see darkness.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
That's fine. I don't mind. It's a good gremlin.
So yeah, yeah, it's a MTG Magic the Gathering token, and then I took the art. I tried to reach the artist, but he's like unreachable. Maybe he got too annoyed, and I used like a program to pixelize it, but it's so small
Okay.
that you can't see the pixels. But I'm getting a guy to do a custom pixel goblin for the Twitch stuff.
Sick.
Sick.
Goblins are the best.
Goblins are so cool.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
like
my
how.
yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I like how in D&D now, like, I don't know, like you've got the difference between like goblins and kobolds has become like really apparent.
Yeah.
Like I think they've been doing that for the past couple of editions, but like I remember as a kid, like playing D&D, like kobolds and goblins were like completely interchangeable. Like
Uh-huh.
the kobolds were just even weaker. Like
Like
you could just double them up. But now it's like kobolds are more crafty, and like goblins are like dumb. You
Yeah,
know, like they're
so chaotic.
yeah, that's it. They're like really like more, but they're way more opportunistic than like kobolds, you know, because kobolds have this whole like dragon worship thing, so it's kind of like they're I don't know, like religious zealots, you know, or
Mm-hmm.
like yeah, ultimate lackeys. Whereas like goblins are the lackeys that will like definitely bail on you, you know, like
Yeah,
it's
first chance they get, like,
yeah,
they see some meat, they take it, and yeah, you
oh
didn't
yeah.
give them the meat, they're gone.
Someone shows up in plate armor and it's like, oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
yeah, you know, like
Yeah, and then kobolds are like, "Can I have the meat?"
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, all right, you know, come over here. And then it's traps, 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 you know?
Is it in? I think it's in 5e. Kobolds have this mechanic like grovel. Like if the you go to hit them and then they can like do puppy eyes and it might make you miss your hit. But I went with Salt Goblin for my YouTube channel and
Yeah, I like
Twitch.
that.
Yeah, it's good. I think
Yeah.
it represents me.
It, yeah.
Uh, yeah. So we're gonna put this on YouTube for other people to watch because in where I live, I don't really want to say exactly where I live. I'll say Southeast Asia. Um,
Okay.
People are getting their first D&D experience. I feel like a lot of people with fifth edition, like it's very new, and a lot of
Yeah.
people like this shit is hard to learn, especially in your second language. And a lot of people are nervous about playing it as a DM. They've been asking
Yeah.
me for some advice, even if because I'm a bit active on the like community on Facebook, just like sharing my
Okay.
creations and whatnot, and sometimes the pictures when we play games. And also, I think as in their school system, they from what they told me, they don't do a lot of presentations and stuff like that, so they're really not comfortable with like playing with strangers and stuff like that. So I went
Hey.
on a group and I asked them if they had questions for DMs because I like 2 weeks ago I said, "Oh, I'm gonna do a little thing with my first DM."
Oh,
Uh,
that's
yeah,
cool.
and so if you're, I know you're super busy, but that would be cool if I don't want to put pressure on you, but like I know you love the web DM guys. If we could
Yeah,
once in
yeah,
a
yeah,
while
yeah.
do like a 20 minutes with Angus.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'd love that. Yeah, absolutely. Like, I'm so down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll try and look better in the next one. Jesus. It
I don't know
was,
if you can. Like that's amazing.
yeah, we got a haircut, and I got a like the beard's a little too bushy. I'm looking like a basement dweller right now, and that's not the case.
You don't have a
Um,
basement, so.
I do actually.
Oh
I do
yeah.
have a basement. Yeah,
Okay.
but I don't go in it. Like it's just for storage.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah, yeah.
Nice.
I keep my extra comics down there. Yeah. So what are the questions? Like that's because this is. Yeah, I remember when I first started. I the first time I game mastered like or DM'd like it was a dungeon master was I had played like one or two games of D&D and like they were really like solo adventures. Like my buddy Andrew had showed me, you know, he like we rolled up a character and we played because I'd seen him walking around with the second edition arms and equipment guide
Okay.
and like
Who was
I
that?
love
Sorry, I zoned out.
uh, oh that's all
Been
right.
a long day.
Andrew, I don't know
Andrew.
if you ever met this dude.
I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, we were friends in high school and like up until our early 20s. But he was a bit of an old school DM. Like he really wanted you to like enjoy the game.
Okay.
And once you were enjoying the game, he was brutal. Like it
Okay.
was you
Yeah. Like
things went he
yeah.
tortured characters.
Drags
Like it got
drags
to like
you in and then when you're addicted
yep,
just fucks with
yep,
you. Nice.
yep. And so he really liked to mess with your characters, you know. So like
How old were you
um
then?
I was 12. I was 12 when
Oh
I started, so
shit.
that was 29 years ago,
So
which
like
is in
Stranger Things original, like that's what they're based
oh,
on.
not
Yeah.
that.
No.
No, we were second edition with the orange cover, the
Right.
knight like riding. Um, but yeah, so the first time I DM'd was I went out like I don't know, as soon as I could save enough allowance to buy my player's handbook, which was like it felt like ages, but I think it was like the next week or something, like it took my birthday money, took like whatever money I had from trading in cans, and like I bought the PHB. Um, and so I just made characters and characters and
Oh,
characters.
I love that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it was summer vacation and it was in between like grade 6 and grade 7. So it's kind of all over the place, like where my friends were.
Mm-hmm.
So the only person around was my sister. And so we rolled up a character for her.
Nice.
Yeah. And so that was the first time I DM because I also really didn't have, like, I didn't have a Dungeon Master's Guide. I didn't have a monster manual. Um, so I ran the same adventure that Andrew had run, like, so Goblin ambush,
Yeah.
like very, very typical. Um, and so yeah, so it's like an art. My biggest advice to people when they're getting started is copy and cheat. So like like if you played with someone and you're well the whole like I mean I for this type of thing like run the same game that you played but with your other friends.
Yeah.
Like your friends who haven't played. Because then you can sort of try out and those other people are going to do something different than what you
Absolutely.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it lets you think on your feet a little bit.
That leads
Um,
to another thing that a lot
yeah,
of people say, like, so it's hard to make groups, and you'd think that with the world being
yeah,
connected by the internet, it would be easy, but it seems everyone's
not at
super
all.
busy or they don't take the time to do that. And me trying to play with you guys at home with the 12-hour difference is just impossible right now.
It's,
But even
it's
with the
huge.
local groups, like a lot of the DMs, they were telling me, like, well, a lot, like two or three people, um, like they prepared this whole thing, this whole campaign, and they got through like two or three sessions, and then the group fell apart, and they're like, "Oh, I created all this thing, and now it's wasted." And it's like, no, just use it with someone else. Like, even if the beginning didn't go wrong, even if you don't want to repeat the beginning, just rehash everything. Like I think it was from WebDM or that other guy that published followers and strongholds, I think. What's his name? Do you know this guy?
No, I don't know this dude.
I think you would love him. Very intense guy. Talks a lot about D&D, and he published a few things. I don't remember his name. WDMC.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You and I have shared a couple of his videos, I think.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So he
He,
goes like, "Oh, your group, you have prepared a dungeon, but your group doesn't want to go on the rails." And then all of a sudden they go into like a town, and okay, they want to go in the empty building. Boom, that's where your dungeon was. Like, hey, they don't know. Like, it's
no,
like catering to children. Like,
I mean, there's a certain amount of parenting, but one of the big things that really changed how I DM'd and like my emotions towards it
hmm
was to remember that I was a player also. And not that I had like an NPC that I was running with them, or anything. Sometimes I did if the group was small, you know, like even if no one wanted to run a cleric, like I
yeah,
just have an NPC cleric,
yeah,
so they could heal and do all that stuff and like booster magic and all that.
yeah.
And no shade on clerics, like that was
I
one of my
love
favorite early
clerics.
characters that I ever played. Yeah, it's one of the few characters that got to like 20th level that I ran, like
Whoa.
back in second edition, that was huge. Huge.
I never
But
got
like,
past level 5. I joined a level 12
uh,
game and they had started at level 1, and I had no
okay.
idea how to play my dude. I had no idea. It was really heavy Ravnica
Oh
politics.
no.
I had no idea what's going on. They were having a blast, but I was like, like the DM had my class and my character sheet like on lock. Like he knew exactly what I was missing, but it was pretty intense.
That's
Uh,
that I always find is kind of hard. Like I get like like if you're starting a new game and you like with the same like we had this happen where so Marisa, my partner, the first game that she played turned into a huge uh, campaign that we finished. Like we got to, I think everybody was between 17th and 18th, like
Jesus.
15th to 19th level. Like it was huge. It was huge. We ran a full campaign start to finish. Took us 3 years. We played nearly every Sunday. Like it was committed. It was great. You know, some people cycled in, some people cycled out. It happens. Um, but then when we started the next campaign, like going back to first level for her was an impossible act.
Yeah.
Like she was like, but I just want to play my character again, and I'm like, I I know,
Play her little
but we're
sister.
yeah, we're
Or
we're
her
moving on, you
kid.
know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it took a while for her to find someone that she liked to play again.
Uh-huh. She
Even
got
then, we've never
attached.
had. Yeah, that's it. Even then, we've never had a campaign that's lasted as long as that. Like afterwards,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I think she still like pines for that character more than anything else. You know, like, um, but that being said, like yeah, like especially if you're an early DM, start everybody at first level. Um, let them get to know their characters. You know, let everybody get to learn how their mechanics work. And also, you can too, because if you're a new DM and you don't know the book inside and out, and that's fine, your players are going to teach you how that mechanic works.
Yes.
Um,
I think that's a
and
thing that's getting lost. Sorry, I cut you off.
oh yeah, no, it's a conversation.
Yeah.
It's not a lecture, you know.
I think that's a thing. I think that's a thing, nice, that I've noticed in the last few years, at least with my uh, experiences. Some of the groups I've been in, the players don't even read the player handbook. They don't even read the basic rules. It's like maybe they're doing a favor for the DM and they're like, sure, I'll come and try. They barely know their character, and it seems like they expect the DM to know everything for them, which is kind of a bit insane because DMs have to read so many fucking books and do so much shit. And I locked out because I run, well, it's been on hold now, but I run a cyberpunk game based on Pathfinder 2,
Oh,
and there's
yeah,
so many moving parts in Pathfinder 2. And I told the dudes, like, and the girls, like, I told my goblins basically, if
yeah,
you don't know, if you miss what your character does, I have so many things to check. Like it's your loss. And now they're super locked in because they're like in Pathfinder, like the bard will sing a song, and in 5e, okay, you get advantage or you can roll a d4, and then you lose it, right? Your inspiration.
yeah.
But in Pathfinder 2, it's like, okay, for 10 turns, they have +1 to resistance to fear. Like it's, and then you're like, ah. So the DM, like you have your initiative, you have the monster HP behind your DM screen, you have your monster stats, you have everyone's passive perception, and then you have to remember, okay, this fucker gets +1 to AC every time. Like, so I told them, like, the bard had the little flag, like, hey, did you add your
Yeah,
+1?
yeah. I mean, it's because even I found fifth edition is like that. Like once we got up to those higher levels where it's like, well, you add this, you add this. Oh, I'm doing this, and so that adds that, and we've got this going on. It's like every once in a while you're gonna miss something, and that's fine.
Yeah.
You know, like every once in a while you can reel it back a little bit, and that's fine too. Like as long as you're having fun, you know,
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
yeah. I mean, and it's also like just some of my players that I've had, like Lou. Lou doesn't like to read. Like, and he's not a reader. He's just like, like I'll read articles, I'll read like magazines and stuff.
Yeah.
But you put it in book form, and he doesn't really follow it, and he doesn't really want to.
Mm-hmm.
But he likes hanging out with everybody.
Yeah.
He's an active participant. If there's a puzzle, he's in there. Um, all that sort of thing. Does he forget all his critical magic items? Absolutely. Does it make it more fun sometimes when he's going through his list and he's like, "Oh yeah, I could have used this last," and everyone like smacks themselves in the head, or
Yeah.
like, the best one that we had, they were cornered, and it was like they were gonna have to fight their way out, and people were gonna die. I like stacked this whole thing against them. I was hoping to just get this one magic item back because that's
Yeah.
all they wanted, and they would let them go.
Yeah.
And it was Maurice's magic sword, and it's her favorite magic sword that she's ever had. And so she was like, "No, I will kill them all, or they will kill me and take it off my cold dead hands."
Yeah.
Because anyway, backed more and more into a corner, losing hit points, like everything's going wrong, and they're like, "How can we get out of here?" And they're like going through, because at this point they're like 14th level, they've got tons of stuff, and they're going through all their list, and they're like, "I got nothing, I got nothing, I got nothing," and then they keep on going, and it's like people are dropping, and Lou's like goes over his list. He's like, "Come with teleportation. What does that do?"
Uh, and did you know as a DM and you were like, dude?
I had forgotten.
Yeah.
That you had that, but that's not my job.
You know what I did when
So,
I played
it was great.
yeah, nice. Well, yeah,
Yeah,
like that
it's
gif with everyone's face palming.
yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, it's you get those type of players who are like I love playing with Chuck, and especially in third edition, like with one of the first big campaigns that we ran, he ran a paladin, and he bought the books that were available
Mm-hmm.
because he always buys all the books. Now, not anymore because he's like, I've had bookcases full that I don't use.
Yeah.
But he looked and saw what the progression that he wanted to do. And so he planned from, I think, second or third level when he was like, I really like this character, to 20th level. And planned out all the things he would take, all all the feats, all the whatever,
Yeah.
and just had it planned. And he's like, all right, this is where I'm going to be. And he stuck to it. And it's a completely different type of person who runs in
I was
those
gonna go say
campaigns.
it's opposite to Lou, but
Yeah, absolutely. Like Lou's gonna show up and be like, oh, maybe I'll take this. Like yeah, it's
I
figuring out who's at your table and what they like, and then
yeah.
catering to that. Also, in catering to your own needs too, because
Mm-hmm.
you're a player also.
Yeah.
So you got to be if you're not having fun running a game, it's like maybe pass the DM screen to someone else in the
Well,
group who's gonna,
yeah. Well,
like vibe with it.
there's a few things I want to touch on because you're giving a lot of info and advice. The
Babbling.
first thing
I babble.
is that's all right. Uh, yeah, we can tell you're passionate, and I think that we've had these talks on long car drives, like when you help me out, but I think there's a lot more that we can cover. So I'm having so much fun. Uh,
Yeah.
the first thing is, as a player, I think I'm between Lou and Chuck. Like, I'll be like, all right, like I'll use an app like Pad Builder, or I'll use like a PDF character sheet for 5e, and I'll plan my character to like level 6 or 10. And then like I level up level 2, and I'm like, huh, I don't want to do that because that's not what the
Yeah.
party
Yeah.
wants
Yeah.
or needs. And also I have trouble remembering everything I have. Like I have troubling with trouble with focusing. So what I did for Pathfinder 1, I think I hadn't played any RPG in like 5 years at that time because I had been, in and out of backpacking and stuff like that. Can you still hear
Yeah.
me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm lagging a bit. Um,
No.
so we found a DM here who wanted to, well, it was a board game friend of mine who wanted to start, yeah, DMing, and he picked Pathfinder 1, and I made an alchemist. And alchemists have a lot of stuff to handle. Like have you played Pathfinder 1? It's like 3.75 on crack.
Yeah. Nah,
And
I only played. I've never. The only Pathfinder game I played was the one that you ran for my birthday. Last year.
yeah, the second edition. So yeah, think about
Yeah.
D&D 3.5, but with a million books instead of half a million books. And anyways, I
Yeah.
had too many things because you have flasks, you can throw bombs, you can drink mutagens. Like there's three builds for the alchemist, and I love to do
Yeah. Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
made custom magic cards for my abilities to remember what I could do. And then in my hands when I was playing, I was like, all right, I'm gonna play this, and I'd slam my magic card on the table and like, what is it? It's a bomb with expanded splash damage. Oh, but we're in the range. That's okay. You should have bought that fire resistance ring when I told you. Like,
I found like so I haven't run a game in like 2 years. Like
mm,
I've been mostly playing for the last little bit, and I
nice.
uh yeah, finding out who I am as a player is interesting. Like I get so bored so quick.
Oh,
Like I
really?
am I yeah, no, I have a hard time focusing. Like I think that's why I was because I was used to DMing. Like there was always something going on.
You
You
bored
know,
in
like I always
combat or role play or the whole part?
all of it. Like if
That's
I get
weird.
distracted or if I get like if I got something else on my mind, like I'm a hard player. Like
Uh-huh.
I engage. I like to do stuff, but like things have to cycle quickly. If we get caught on something for too long, I like I'm not a puzzle guy.
This is
I
taking
never have.
forever. Flip
Yeah, exactly.
table.
Like I am. Oh yeah, no,
You're
with
Conan.
yeah, exactly. Like the last game that we played, and I can't. It took like God, we were playing for nearly a year, I think, and like apparently some people have done it in like one night. But we were playing the Aliens RPG by Modifius, I think that's who puts it out. And so you're playing Colonial Marines. Um, and yeah, no, there were some things where it's like you definitely have to like creep your way past everything or like go soft and subtle, and that is not my strong point. Like
Yeah.
I like like I like playing barbarians. Like just someone who's like direct course of action. I will talk to you and I will smash you down. Um,
Yeah, that
so
doesn't
yeah,
sound like the system for you to play, but I'm sure as a player you would have,
it
as a
was
DM,
great.
yeah, I'm sure as a DM you would
As
have
a
enjoyed
player, it
torturing your players a
oh,
lot.
absolutely, absolutely, because it has a high kill rate. So Carol, one of my
Why do
friends that
you
I'm
like to
playing.
DM this system? High
Oh, no,
murder rate.
yeah, that's it. Like Carol lost 4 PCs. Like
Wow.
I went through like I played two throughout the game. Like my first one was at the end of the first session. I got my legs shot out from under me, so I just couldn't continue.
Like
So he
literally,
didn't
like
check.
in the game?
Yeah, in the game. Yeah,
Jesus
he's got
Christ.
his leg. Yeah, and my second character, she died in the second to last scene of the last game. So I mean, like it was, and I died cutting off an alien's head with this sword and having all the acid spray on me and just turning myself into a like I got into
Yay!
close combat with the alien and
Yay!
like I blew all my points. I blew everything. Like I had no guns left. It was either that or I was just gonna pull a pin on a grenade and wrestle it.
Game over,
Um,
man!
yeah, exactly. Like, and part of the crew had mutinied, and like it was really bad. But like that's the type of thing I need, Like I need to either go out in a blaze of glory or just like keep me occupied,
Yeah.
Like so interesting having learned that. Like I'm excited to DM again and see what that's going to be like. Also, I mean, like it's
I've been
yeah,
playing more too because I've been only DMing since I had been the alchemist. The guy ended up moving away, and
yeah,
actually, like we would say with a few of my uh, friends in the group, like I have the circle where I live now in Southeast Asia, and I have the
yeah,
circle back home, and we tried to take turns in the two groups to DM. And ultimately, I sometimes I didn't like how they DM'd, so I was like, nah, I'm gonna do it again.
yeah, 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 yeah.
But now, like, I've met like where I play Magic, uh, the owner of the shop is a great DM and it's super fun to play. And like he's inspired all the kids, well, kids are like 25 years old
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
to play and to start DMing their own story and he's creating a living world and it's I've been exploring the classes because my weakness is combat, but a lot of players love the combat and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so I didn't know how to make it more fun. So I'm learning a lot from these guys. I'm gonna steer the conversation a bit to the question that the person asked on the
Sure,
group.
sure. Yeah, I
Uh,
think I've got time to answer one more, and then I gotta do that drawing before my client shows up.
nice.
But yeah, yeah, yeah. Shoot.
So real quick, if people have a question in the chat, we have 5 viewers at the moment, so that's exciting. So the question that first of
Fame and
all,
fortune, here we come. It's
sorry.
fame and fortune, here we come.
Oh
Yeah, it's
shit. We're gonna get canceled. You're nice. You're okay. I'm gonna get canceled. You have to be careful.
I'm used to being on the radio and talking about kids' books, so
Yeah.
I always like try not to swear. You
Yeah.
know, like it was 10 years of being like, don't swear, don't swear, don't swear, don't swear. You know.
Yeah. I'm gonna have a big poster, I think, behind my computer, like no boomer language, like the F word and like everything, like the R word that I'll get canceled on Twitch. So yeah,
Oh yeah.
I had put a post on the local Facebook D&D group saying like I'm gonna talk with my first DM. We're gonna talk about how to DM because a lot of people seem nervous about it. First guy gave me a troll question about like how does resistance and armor works in first edition, and I was looking through like the fifth edition playbook. I'm like, what? But we got
There
one
is no
question.
there
Yeah,
is no real resistance. There was you could be immune to it.
but don't worry about. He
And
was
for
just trolling. So the real
oh yeah,
question
no,
that
but
they
I mean
had,
I can beat the trolls, you know,
yeah,
like
but
and punch damage was usually between was about one point of damage.
okay, yeah, that
Yeah.
sucks.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah. Unless you were a monk. Yeah.
so the real question was actually, oh, the real question was actually, how do you roleplay diverse NPCs?
Oh. So the way I'm understanding this question is how do you make your PCs like diverse and interesting and
Yeah,
like different than other people?
yeah. I think he was
There's
saying like behavior and voice
mm,
and the way they talk. Like, so it's not always just Angus is a shopkeeper, Angus is a assassin, Angus is a sexy nymph. Like,
yeah. Hey, what up? It's Angus the Nymph.
with
Um,
a bushy beard.
I mean, some days that's hard, man. Some days because like I used to do improv, I used to do theater and all that stuff, and I mean, but I was DMing before that, and I was doing all that stuff before that. Like,
Mm,
um, I only started in theater because my girlfriend was doing it, and I wanted to hang out with her more. I was 15, you know.
mm-hmm.
But like, yeah, the trick to that sort of thing is remembering that these are your friends, and kind of the bigger you go, like the more they'll remember it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so like if you can do any impressions, like throw that in. What's his face had some great advice. I think it's Hank Azaria, the guy
Mm-hmm.
who does most of the, or he does like half the voices on The Simpsons.
Okay.
He's like, all the characters that I came up with are just bad impersonations other people.
Oh, yeah.
So like when he's doing Mo Sislak, he's doing Al Pacino in the 70s. So
Okay.
he's kind of like all nasal, and even if you move your face a little different and like try and talk and like squeeze your voice up or pull your voice down or like do something like that. Um, if you're not great at like voice work or anything like that, that's fine too. There's so many charts of like random character traits. Um, and like my games always end up being a bit wacky because like I don't know, I'm there to have fun, and like I have a hard time running a completely serious game.
You want
You
Lord of the
know,
Rings and you get Monty Python.
yeah, oh yeah, it invariably, you know.
Well, that's interesting. I've noticed for my players that they respond a lot to just facial expressions. So
Yeah,
if I
yeah,
act just a bit like I have some twitches that I'm very self-conscious now because I see myself on the camera live. I've just had, and they come out more when I'm a bit stressed or tired. And
yeah.
it used to be a not a problem, but more prominent when I was a kid. But sometimes like I'll wink a lot or something like that. Not like
Oh, that's
Tourette's,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah. No, no.
like, and my eyes get
Well, it's a
really
twitch.
dry. And some players think that I'm trying to send messages like this NPC is twitchy or something. What I've done is like, cause my games are like 80% improv.
Yeah.
Like I,
Oh,
so I just improv names. I know some people like to have like NPC name lists, but I just improv names and I have two notebooks. Usually I have one for the story and I have one for combat because the combat gets really messy. And then as I'm playing, I'm like, all right, this is at the moment all the kids in my games are called Kevin. Like all the children in the game are called Kevin. And but if I name someone like let's say Tony Stoneforge is here and he's a blacksmith and he's had a long day. And then I'll go like with scratchy voice and I'll just write Tony Blacksmith scratchy voice. And then when I'm doing another guy, I'll go like opposite, like, you know, like, oh, the high strung elf, willow leaf, hi guys, like, not too silly because then I get self conscious or like
no, no,
it's
no.
too
But just
much.
a little different.
Yeah,
Yeah,
or slow down your voice or, you know, speed up your voice. If you don't like to do voices, the body language, you know, like some people, I would say, you can't see me, but on the camera, I'm leaning with my right shoulder forward, you know, or like
yeah, yeah,
just wear
yeah.
a hat or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like reoccurring NPCs are kind of the best part, you know,
Yes.
like there's tons of memes where it's like, you know, like it's like, ah, my beautiful long drawn out story. And the one shopkeeper named Dave that everyone's latched onto all of a sudden, you know, like
Did you see
it's
the meme, Boblin the Goblin?
yeah, Pablo the Goblin. Yeah.
Everyone loves him. It's just an NPC. Like, we didn't know the name. He's Boblin. Players love
Oh my
Boblin
god,
now. The
yeah.
game is about Boblin. Where is Boblin?
Yeah. The last Alien game, there's an NPC named Duncan, and we're like, so Duncan's gonna save the day, right?
Uh-oh.
And her DM was like, no, no, Duncan isn't coming back. Like, she was
Duncan has
so done with
been liquefied by acid. Fuck you guys.
it. We're like, nah, nah, that's impossible. It's Duncan, you know,
Yeah.
like
I actually I told people in the chat to put viewers to put questions in if they have some questions. I know you gotta go, but just to let you know if you're interested in doing this another time later. We now have
up to
6 viewers and there's 2 people in the chat asking questions.
fame and fortune, fame and
Hey, I
fortune.
did the exact thing.
Send me my check.
Yeah, but yeah, I think we can go over that way longer next time.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you
Next
draw, you
time,
have
and
to focus, right? You can't chat at the
well,
same
I
time.
mean, yeah, exactly for this
Yeah,
one. But
yeah.
I mean, there's going to be other ones where I don't have to. But also, I'll know how Discord works a
Mm-hmm.
little bit more. So
Yeah,
it's we'll have to struggle with that, and yeah, we'll set more of a timer on it. You know,
yeah.
like if we start at 9 or something.
If
So
your
yeah.
partner has like an iPad or something, you will be able to follow on Twitch to see my face at the same time too.
Oh, I have an iPad. I just don't have a computer.
Oh,
I
but
do have my
if you
truck.
go on I think just on the browser, you'll be able to go on Twitch from the browser next time, and then you'll be able to see me live. So,
Man, I can't
uh,
believe this is the future. I've
yeah,
led a very good life. I'm waking up in the morning, talking about D&D. I'm gonna go do some cool tattoos.
there you go.
Like, life's a pretty sweet fruit sometimes, you know?
You want,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a durian, but sometimes it's a mango.
I
You want
mean,
to?
either way, it's
Why don't you plug a bit where you work if you want?
sure. I work at DFA Tattoos in Montreal. I'm a tattooer. I do that 4 days a week. And yeah, that takes up most of my time because otherwise I'm drawing for my tattoos. I don't know. I got a band called the Hypnophonics. You can find
Yes.
us on Spotify. There's two Hypnophonics, and both of them are us because things messed up.
Monopoly.
Uh, yeah. If you want to see one of my tattoos, check out at Angus Tattoos on Instagram. You can see what I do there.
Mm-hmm. You also have your green tide.
I have a miniatures Instagram where I'm just getting back into it. I built a bunch of orcs, getting ready for Orktober, and
Yes.
that's at Green Tide Miniatures.
Wag.
Um, the Wog indeed. But well, dude, thank you so much for having me on. This was great, and we'll figure it out, and we'll take some more questions, and hopefully have a little bit more time next time.
Yeah, thanks for doing this, bro. I really appreciate.
Sure,
Yeah,
of
fuck
course.
yeah.
I love you, man.
Love you
Like,
too, bro.
yeah, miss you.
Miss you too.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks again, man.
Bye.
Have a good day.
Hey, no problem, dude. Yeah, you too. Bye.
Peace out. All right, guys, give me just a sec. I'm gonna switch. I'm gonna turn off Discord. I'm new at all this techie stuff, so I'm managing a lot of things at the same time. So I'm just gonna go. Is this the right one? No. Give me a sec, my dudes. All right. Very good. What the? All right. I'm just loading up my world map. See ya. Numericon and Erdis Sivertal. I don't know how to. Erd disk divert all. Error disk divert all. Okay. You see, I'm not very techy. And Numeron CI 100. All right. I gotta get better at reading names. Thank you guys for joining. Welcome to Salt Goblinoid. It's Salt Goblin also on YouTube. First stream, I got about 45 minutes left from the first session ever. I gave me a challenge of 3 hours. So yeah, I had a lot of questions I wanted to ask my good old friend Angus. And yeah, we went on tangents, so we didn't have time to talk about any of it. You can call me Kian. All right, cool. I'll try to remember that, but no promises. I have really bad memory. So I wanted to talk a bit about D&D today. And the question from Numericon, how can I make combat more interesting? So I was just telling my friend Angus that that's also what I struggle with. But there are a few things that you can do that I've learned in my limited time as a DM and as a player. First of all, it depends with your group, but I've noticed that when you like give information beforehand for events or like what's gonna happen and something like that, players love to plan, and they love when the plan goes according to what they wanted to do. So, for example, in my last campaign, they wanted to attack a goblin camp and they did some scouting, but they noticed that the goblin numbers were too great. So they were not, well, the barbarian wanted to charge in and try to kill everyone all at once, but the other players and me telling them giving them a few warnings, they knew that they were not going to be able to kill everyone by themselves. They were like level 2 and there were like 50 goblins. So they made plans, they scouted around the area and they found an NPC that could give them more ideas of the landscape for an ambush. And they found a cliff that was split in two where they could ambush the goblins there if they could lure them in. And they learned from that NPC that the goblins had small raiding parties, so they figured that if they attack goblin parties one by one, they'll be able to trim the numbers slowly. Let me know in the chat if you think I'm going too fast, because you said your English is not good at all, but I'm pretty sure it's better than you think. Um, so yeah, they had the time to prepare. They knew where to go, and they sort of knew the number of goblins that they were going to face. And they started crafting traps, and they took the time to go ahead and hide the traps between the two cliffs. And then they lured the goblins at night, pretending to make a campfire. And they had a lot of fun, and they ditched the plan like turn 2. But that was really interesting for them to see their plan come to fruition. Another thing is, I don't know if you play tactics games like on PC or on consoles, but my favorite game of all time is XCOM 2, and all the other tactics games that I've played are not that fun, and I've realized it's because of cover. If you give them terrain and complications, whoops, sorry, my Discord is buggy. Just turn off Discord. Yeah, if you give them complications, like, oh, this part is difficult terrain, or this part is elevated, or there's a big fucking rock and you saw someone run behind, but you don't know how many they are, that puts some stress and some calculations for them to play with. So like if you just put them on an empty square with like four orcs with melee weapons, that's very boring. It's good for like introducing players to combat, but already if you put like 2 melee guys and 2 range guys, your combat is already difficulty, let's say number 2, setting number 2. And then if you go and put the archers on elevated ground, you've made the fight a bit more difficult, and now your players that are at disadvantage. Now if you put a few trees where your players can hide behind, now they have to like dodge arrows, go hide behind the trees, and run up the hill to go fight the archers. And already there's more things that are happening in your world. It's more dynamic. Sometimes you can put a timer like in your head or like on your notes, like, okay, at turn 3 reinforcements arrive, and you can foreshadow that. You can let the players know, like if they roll well in perception, that something is going on behind them or behind their enemy. You can do environment interaction, like with Angus. I remember that there was one time we had a fight on an abandoned castle that was sinking in the ocean. So we're on the top, I forgot, parapet, the walls, and we were fighting undead that were coming from both sides, and there were waves crashing at a certain place on the walls. So we couldn't run away because I was in heavy armor. I was the cleric. We had to fight the undead, but we managed to lure like half of the group to get swallowed by the sea, so we didn't have to fight them. So these are small things that you can do to make your combat more dynamic. Also role playing. If you have more questions, put them in the chat while I talk. I can take a look while I chat. More difficulty, more fun. Yeah. It will be fun for you, but maybe not your PCs. It's still okay, perhaps. Well, Communication is key in all aspects of life. Like for my last group, I did a Google Sheet poll. When I was asking my players directly what they wanted, they were not giving me answers. But when I let them complete a quiz anonymously, they were much more verbal about what they wanted. So I asked them like, do you want combat more deadly? Do you want more difficulty? Do you want more exploration? Do you want shorter combat? Or do you want full session combat? And I was very surprised that they wanted, like, let's say I had a pool of 8 players that came in and out, and like 4 core players. Maybe 6 of them wanted deadlier combat, and all of them didn't mind if they had a full like 3-hour combat session, but not every week. So if you go to Google Sheets and do like a poll, I probably not pronounce it correctly because English is also not my first language. Yeah, just on Google Forms, and you send them the form, and then they can do it anonymously, and you can ask them like, is combat too easy? Is combat boring? And you can read it on their faces, like if they're not having fun, well, you learned. At the end of the session, you can say like, hey, sorry, my bad. I'm trying things out. If you didn't like it, I'll try something else next time. If you enjoyed it, then I'll give you more of that. That's always some things you can do. Like in my Cyberpunk campaign, I I let the combat difficulty be decided randomly. And I had mechanics, but like really quickly, I just had sort of mechanics where monsters could spawn from 4 points on the map. And basically, they could go from one spawn point to the other, clear the mobs, and then do combat like that. But something happened, and well, they fucked up and they attracted the attention of the 4 spawn points at the same time. And I was rolling dice for how many monsters appeared. And a lot of monsters appeared on the last spawn point. So they almost got killed by shitty little mobs because they got overwhelmed. And as you know, players never want to retreat. And the monsters were dogs. They were junkyard dogs. I didn't want my players and the campaign to end because of them being eaten alive by dogs. So we found a way to salvage the situation, but I could tell that they were not having fun. They were stressed, but not in a good way. Like if you think you're gonna die from the epic, like big bad evil guy that you've been working on for your whole campaign, that's fucking cool. If you're getting killed by little shitty goblins or little shitty dogs, that's not fun. Thanks for the questions, Kian. And my wife is here. Hello, honey. They can't see you. No, you can walk in. I have 30 minutes left on the stream for my goal for the first time. Chayo. So one thing I wanted to do with the community is make a map together. But I don't know if we'll have time. I don't know if you guys is okay. Evil Camp, it's cool, but hard for the new DM like me. What do you mean by Evil Camp? Evil Campaign? If you mean Evil Campaign, yeah, it's fun, but it depends. Like my first ever game that I DM'd was an Evil Campaign also. And basically, it was an orc chieftain trying to take over a human kingdom. So they had a few missions that they could choose from. They chose to go try and poison the wells of a village. And that's really fun, but it depends how your players want to act. Because, yeah, campaign. Because I didn't know if it was evil camp, like a camp where you can go and camp. You want to see that people saw you? uh, what did I want to say? My wife distracted me because she's hot. Um, yeah, evil campaign is very fun, but a lot of players they do their roleplay being evil like really like a like a cartoon, like a Saturday morning cartoon, and I hate that style. Like, or just the rogue that at night will go and steal from his team players. Like, no one likes that. It's dumb. You'd get kicked out of the party really quickly in the story, and in real life you might get kicked out of the player group if they think that that's lame. So there's a few ways to role play evil characters in a way that can be way more interesting. Like you can do like a psychopath controlling evil guy that wants to get rich, wants power, wants to take over the town, and he found the adventurers that he knows will become very powerful. And they're kind of crazy like him, like they like to go in dungeons and just fucking kill everything they see, so he gets his murderous rage out that way. But he doesn't want to backstab them because they have his back. And it's better for him to have their back. That boosts his survivability. So he doesn't want, if they're in trouble, he doesn't want to save them because he loves them. He wants to save them because he's stronger with them. You can roleplay like that. But just being strong and want to murder stuff for fun, like, I don't see the point in role playing that unless you have a plan with your DM that you want, a progression, a character development where your character gets stronger and, finds the good inside of him over time. Like, I just watched the new Dragon Ball movie, and Vegeta has this story, Piccolo has this story. A lot of Goku's friends become friends because they're fucking strong, and he knows that he can only become stronger if he fights them, and if they're as strong as him, then he will push his limit and keep getting stronger. And they see that he's nice and good, and they want to become strong, and they find the good, they find reasons to fight. They find love, like Vegeta's got Bulma, Piccolo loves to watch over Gohan and stuff like that. So you could roleplay something like that too, for sure. So you might be wondering why I'm looking at Greece, but basically when I make a map, I like to look at a real life region to make my maps more realistic. So I'm trying to find something cool. I already used Italy. So yeah, evil campaign, it depends. Like, do they want to be a drow? Like, and you live in the Underdark, and then everyone is evil? Or do you want to be like normal humans that have a thieves guild or an assassins guild? That could be really fun. Sorry, I'm just checking. Yeah. So let me know if you guys have any questions. We have 5 viewers. Don't be shy. Talking about D&D, Dungeons and Dragons. I'm trying to talk about my experience as dungeon or game master. And at the same time, we're gonna look at making a map. Oh, this is cool. Yeah, I like that. But I'm trying to build more regions, because if you look at my maps, like I always make a continent or just a city. This is more of a region, city, region, continent, city. So like a region where this is what I read recently when when you open a good old fantasy book and where is it? There's another one. Oh yeah. You look at a region and you can see maybe like the north is blocked off by mountains, but the south is open. So you know that there's an adventure where you start, but you also know that you'll be able to branch out and go out in the world. I want a campaign where players betray each other like werewolf board game, do you know? Oh my god. So my first advice, like I love the idea. First advice would be to make sure that your players want to do that. Because if you're trying to manipulate people who don't want to backstab each other, they're gonna find it weird, or maybe that's not what they're in for, and then no one will go towards the direction that they want to go. Like the DM won't go where they want to go, and the players won't go where they want to go. The story will not make any sense, and it will be really annoying. So no, I don't know any system like that. Um, but I'm sure it's very popular. Actually, with Angus, the first time that I DM'd something other than 5e, I was the game master for a Star Wars game set between episode 3 and episode 4, actually right as the Jedi Temple was burning. And I made each player, I gave each player a secret note that they were contacted by the new formed empire, and that if they backstab each other, they would get goodies, like very good loot. And none of them liked it. Actually, when I gave them the paper, like some of them like, are you kidding? Like how predictable? But they didn't share the info with each other. The problem is that I did it in front of everyone. So everyone knew that they were being contacted. And this was about 15 years ago. Now we have online, so you could send secret messages by Facebook or Discord to your players to do something like that, and that could be more interesting. You could work it in the game without letting them know, like the players go in town, or even just with an NPC, like the evil sheriff is like, "Hey, we're looking for outlaws. If you know anything about what's going on, and maybe your players have done some not so nice things in the past, like, hey, if you give us any information about that, you'll get a reward." Just making them want to do that. You want to, okay, you want to manipulate them. Uh, Actually, I read a green text, a green text story that the rogue, I think, in one of the campaigns that I read online, became a vampire, so he had to kill regularly, and he kept getting caught on purpose. No, no, that's not true. He kept being seen on purpose. So people in the village or the town would see him, give a description, and then the town would put, like the guards would put like a most wanted poster on the walls, and like with a reward like 100 gold pieces, and then the players would pretend that they had caught him, and they would bring him in town to get the reward, and then they would help him break out of prison, and then they would do that to another town, and it sort of became the way they made money. So offering a reward, I guess, would be a good way to manipulate them. I don't know your campaign, your present campaign, if you want to do that or if it's for a new one. Um, I wouldn't try from, if you want to surprise them, I wouldn't try from the first session. I would do it after the players have done some sketchy things, like maybe they didn't save an NPC, maybe they just stole like one gold piece or something like that, or maybe an NPC has like a dark past. You can work with their backgrounds. Maybe they hear voices and the voices want them to kill their friends or something like that. Jeez, it got dark. Disc divert. Do you have any questions? Just chilling. Yeah, no one else is coming. We have 20 minutes left on the stream. It's been a 3 hour ordeal. What? Estany Prudent. That's a real lake? That's really cool. Isla de Conils. Look at that. Wow, you can even see how deep the ocean is now. That's fucking nuts. What's that? Whoa! That's their agriculture? Why is it red and yellow? Parc Natural de Cessaline. Temporarily closed. What is that? A museum? Salt? I guess it's salt. I'm gonna Google it. Parc Natural de Cessaline. Okay, yeah, is it a salt farm? That's nuts. I think they have salt farms in Vietnam too, right? How do I go back? More info. Let's Google that, guys. Sorry, I wanted to make a map, but I got distracted by this. This is really interesting. Cessaline. A birder's paradise, this protected area boasts scenic, secluded beaches, vast salt beds, and wetlands. So there you go. You already have something interesting for your players to go in your next campaign. But it says natural park, but that doesn't look very natural. A golf? Is that a golf? Hate golf. I don't know if that's golf. All right, so what is this region called? Parc Naturel de Saline. So what I do is I go on Google Maps. That's so big. I like this area. And then I will take a screenshot, go to paint, copy paste it, crop it. I know I'm in the other thingy. How do I zoom out? Deuce, no. Ah, actually I don't need to go there. Can I just copy on incarnate? No. How about making a Vietnam map if you want a new beautiful place? That's true. So I actually had a campaign setting based on Vietnam. Can I find a map? Yeah, here we go. I think it's this. Yeah, but that's the small version. Kings River. Um, Here we go. Can you guys see? I think I'm lagging. Am I still here? Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm just crashing. All right, let me check. Maybe something on my computer at the same time. I don't think so. Okay. Voice is okay. Okay, cool. So, yeah, I had made a little setting about based on Vietnam um, and dinosaurs. So I don't know if it's a nice thing. So my story was, imagine if the instead of, you know, when the French came to take over Vietnam, not a really nice or fun part of history. I don't want to say colonized because there was already civilization in Vietnam at that time. I hate that term. But when the French arrived, imagine if instead of arriving, what, they arrived in the 1800s? No, wait, yeah. When did the French? Yeah, I hate the word colonize. 1877. So imagine if they arrived like at the same time that they went to like Canada, like the 1600s, where technology is way lower. So we can now have like a high fantasy setting or low fantasy, whatever, but it's more fantastical. And these people in my fantasy world were based on French knights and royalty. Imagine if when they sailed to go look for new lands, they went through a storm and they got lost and they lost their memory. Like something just cheesy, but the reason why they got to the land, that the fantastic land that I was creating, and like only 3 or 4 ships survived the trip. And when they arrived there, they were local people, based on Vietnamese or Southeast Asian culture at that time. So like Saigon, a long time ago, was more populated by Cambodian people, but they left over time. This is what I've read. So general, you know, Khmer, Cham, whatever empire was there at the time. I'm not too sure about South Vietnam. Nguyen was more like Hue, I think. And but the local people were nice to uh, the new refugees, and they accepted them in their culture, but they didn't know how to melt metal. They don't know how to make iron. But actually, I don't like that story because it makes the local people sound like they have low technology or lower technology. So instead, they already had metal forging, but they liked the knight from France, from Europe style. So they adopted that because in these lands, there are dinosaurs that are just fucking up their days. And these people, the local people, based on Southeast Asian culture, how they survived is they built cities in the center of giant rice fields because the dinosaurs, the heavy dinosaurs, they would get stuck in the mud of the rice fields. So this was where they grew their food, but it was also the way that they defended themselves. When the new players arrived, the new people arrived, They thought the dinosaurs were the dragons that they had heard for a long time and that they came here to fight. So this world, the setting that my players took part in was maybe 200 years in the future. The city in the south was very much copied, like it was a like European castle, but in the middle of a Southeast Asian like countryside Vietnam city with countryside Vietnam landscapes. Like I love the center of Vietnam, so like limestones and things like that. And you had in this world there was a strong tradition. Limestone mountains. There was a strong tradition of knights on horses going to fight fucking dinosaurs. So my players fucking loved that. And then of course there was like the jungles and the stuff like that, like the savage lands where these guys were humans but that were worshipping beasts. And also if you went here it was more like lizardy, classic Aztec, like Warhammer civilization. So that was really fun. So we could make all this to say that, yeah, we could make a Vietnam map. I have about 10 minutes left to the stream. I'm getting a bit tired, to be honest with you guys. But yeah, I love this kind of stuff. Actually, maybe I'm thinking more about Ninbin for this style. Yeah, I'm thinking more about Ninbin. Yeah, look at that. Of course, that's Photoshop, but amazing. Very cool. All right, so how about we find a location? So Vietnam is very coastal, so we would have to make a coastal location, which is good. You can have a port where the story starts. What's that? Ah, is that the place where foreigners are not allowed to go because there's their military base there? Oh, Con Dao, is that where the ghosts? Is that the ghost town where a lot of ghosts live? Because there was an old French prison and they executed like a lot of poor people there. Honba. Honba. Is that just mountain? More than three. No, it's not the right it's not the right accents. Hello. Click you. Sea turtle incubation ground. So that's a protected place. That's sick. Water looks beautiful. Holy shit, I want to go there now. Yeah, Honba, Honba. Can I do that with my French keyboard? Yeah. Oh yeah, island. Just means island. There's no name. The movie Kong was filmed there. Ninh Yeah, that's right. So here we have a little secluded town. Looks like a crab. So we have fucking Crab Island. Fuck yeah. Condao. Condao? Yeah, the prison. There you go. So let's try that, guys. We have 10 minutes. We'll get started on the map. And next week, maybe we can continue. If we could do a weekly thing. Actually, I'm going to be streaming tomorrow too. Tomorrow afternoon. Reject all. So if you guys have nothing to do, I could do that. Main inhabited archipelago island. Onchelon. I know I'm not supposed to say that, right? Honba. You can copy it. Ah, thanks, man. Too late. I have a delay on the chat. Oh, you like my lipstick? Nice to print screen, copy paste. I was hovering. Okay, print screen. Copy paste to, and then I crop the part I want. It's not working. That's not what I want. Print screen. This is live. I have to move it. Okay, I'm dumb. Take this. New file. I know I'm in the other window. I'm just trying to do the thing. Yes. Save as. I have a new computer. So I don't have much. So we will go just to downloads. Save. Now you go back to Incarnate. Create new map. Actually, no. Let's do Fantasy World. Let's do landscape. For viewers! This is fun. Then we'll go to this. Open catalog, upload. This is a great website that I use. I'm paying $5 a month for this, but I stop paying when I don't have a campaign going. Even the free map is fun. I recommend you use free map for a while until you no, not that one. Until you know a bit more what you're doing. Did it not work? Is it this one? Yeah. Save stamp. Where is it? Ah, it's here. Durr. Okay. So then you bring it on here. You stretch it however big you want it. Let's do this. And then what you can do, you go here. Like so. Right? Transparency. You come to the shovel, add. You change. And then you can choose like circle shape or rocky shape. We're gonna use circle shape. And then you do the stressful thing. Well, you can go fast and then it makes more silly things. It doesn't have to be exactly how you want it. Just like that. And you can complete it later. But I like to go fast for this part. It's actually what I use for my other world that I'm building over time. My players haven't found the origin, the real life origin yet. But I don't know why I love islands. That tool is cool. I'm using Wonder Draft and Dungeon Draft. That looks beautiful. That looks like the same as Incarnate. That look, whoa, loud. That looked like they just copied it. Seems like you can do bigger stuff though. Like bigger worlds, because with the other tool, when you do a big world, if you zoom in, it gets very fuzzy, like blurry. Yeah, you can do all that in Incarnate. That's like exactly the same thing. Yeah, it's the same. Interesting. And Dungeon Draft. Yeah, it's the same. Is it just a free Megasploot? By Megasploot? Is Wonder Draft a copy of Incarnate? Wonder Draft is much faster. It does not do random sprite. Dungeon Draft is what you want for dungeon maps, not Wonder Draft. Incarnate is much bigger variety of sprites. It's not as good at generating land masses. It's slower. Okay. Interesting. Here. So we'll do the nice bay here. I love to do islands. And even if you don't want to do an island, like you can just cut that in half and pretend that's a region. Like zoom in on it. Yeah, just fast. It's okay if you make mistakes. And then you can go a bit bigger and fill in the holes. 1 minute left, boys. Nice. So I'll save for now. This is called Kondao, right? What does Kondao mean? Where's my Google Translate? It could be Prison Island. It's just a name. This could be like Prison Island Adventure. Yeah, that's it, guys. I'm gonna save because I'm a bit tired now that I know that it's been 3 hours. I hope you enjoyed the first stream. The first hour I just played some games waiting for people to log in. And then Angus came in and we had time to answer just a few questions. I think that he has a lot to say and I have a lot to say too. So in the future we have to structure this better. And I wanted to make a map too. So I think we can continue that in the next stream. So guys, if you have more questions, some feedback, or just some nice comments to say, you can put them in the group on Facebook where I said I was going to stream. You can put them in the chat here. I also have the YouTube channel called Salt Goblin, and I'll be putting the Angus part of the DM there if you want to watch it again, practice your English or whatnot. Maybe I can get some Vietnamese subtitles there too. And yeah, that's it. I'll be streaming at the same time every week. So Saturday night, starting at 7 Vietnam time. And I'll be streaming tomorrow afternoon, where I'll be playing Halo Infinite for the first time because I just got a gamer high-end PC for the first time in like, I want to say 15, 17 years. So I'll be doing a bit of gaming. I'm not good at gaming, but we'll see what happens. Thanks for joining. Thank you guys. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you for the follows. Thank you for the comments. And thank you for giving me some time of your day, everyone. It's been very nice. Hangap Lai, and see you again, guys. Boys and girls and goblins. Now, how do I stop this stream? Oh yeah, I gotta go to OBS. All right, that's it.